BC. This is Spirit Cars. Hope you're having a great day today. It's a beautiful day in the Ozarks. We're busy building hot rods and all kinds of stuff. You can see we got lots of work going on. We've got the bottom of another one ready to go. We've talked about why we paint the bottom first. We'll mask that off and turn it over. I've got turnkeys going off over there, and that's pretty soon. That's going to another building, which would be awesome. And we've got a bunch of cars going on in here, but here's what we're talking about today. Goldie is coming together. Oh, I got an echo. I'm in an echo chamber now. So Goldie's coming together, and someone asked about cutting curved glass the other day on Dorothy. And we'll go back to Dorothy maybe tomorrow or Monday at the latest and kind of show the update. And I'll put a piece of glass there and cut a curve, and I'll do it live, and it's either going to work or it's not. And you'll see cutting it curved. But sanding on glass wears out your paper a lot, and the paper's fairly expensive. Good curve cut, much better, much easier. So I think getting title this, get a good foundation. This is Goldie, and she didn't have a good foundation. I think it was powder coated metal flake, and then it just was kind of coming off, and then they tried to do it again on top of that, and it was like not working right. And it just doesn't look good, and this is a car that's been built for quite a while, So the customer brought it and wants us to finish it. So now it's like on the fast track. We're ready, we're doing it. Today we'll have the paint on it. But what we had to do is take it all off. Take it all off, go to the bare metal, sandblast it, prep it, get it ready, put an epoxy primer on it, which is a self-etching primer. And a self-etching primer, what that means is basically that the primer has some acid in it that actually etches into the metal. So get an etching primer, put on bare metal, especially when you're dealing with that big of an area. A lot of times if you just sand through, like if you're doing some metal body work or something, you don't have a big area, you don't have to have etching primer, but there's kind of a formula about how much and whatever, and there's debate about what's good and what's not. So we got the etching primer, then we got a regular primer and sanded, so it's all slick around the corners and the front, especially where you see it. Did that with a build primer, then we put a sealer on it, and now we've got a first base color. And I don't know if you can see the different colors. So we had a lot of choices in the flakes that we had. Can you see all the differences in color in that? Mm-hmm. So this color to this color is a little different. There's a line right there, you can see it. This color to this color is a little bit different. This color to this color is a little bit different. This color to this color is a little bit different. The difference between these two colors is probably, these are all in the same vein as far as the shade, is the base underneath of it. This is the kind of a difference in the type of flake we did. This is another sample. So we've decided, all right, we looked at all this. We based it on a couple things. One, okay, one looks good. They all look fine. I mean, depending what you wanted. But then how do you achieve that look with kind of the least amount of materials? Dark spot. Welcome back. So I was just talking about, we don't want to do a lot of build. So we want to get the color we want without huge amounts of build. So we have settled on the color we want. This comes from Eastwood. So we have a bunch of Eastwood, the product that came with the car. And this is a urethane candy top coat color system. So when you talk about true candy, you can see the color there? You can see right through that. You can see right through that color. You can still read everything under it. So it's an incredibly transparent color. So if you tried to cover something with that, you wouldn't do it. So we decided, all right, this is a gold color that we liked. And we put this down first. You can see that's kind of where we're at in the process. So we've got our etching primer, we've got a build primer, we've got it all sanded, really clean. We've got a sealer on it on top of that. Now we have what I want to call a base coat, which is this color. And we're using a Shopline product, PPG. And it's actually, and this is probably pretty appropriate for it, it's a Walt Disney corporate color. So it's a Walt Disney Incorporated. It's one of their fleet colors. So who knows what they put it on, but they put it on something gold. After that, we'll get that on, and we're going to put some flake on. And we have decided, there's a couple different flakes, and you can see in there, there's a real coarse flake here, and this is more of a fine flake. So we predetermined we are going to mix these two flakes together. And we'll kind of measure so we have it consistent, so when we do the frame, we do the body, everything's going to sort of look the same. And it will look, I mean, if it's off a little bit, it may be barely off the distance of these two framed to that, and you can't hardly see that unless you've got the light going just right. And it's probably not even going to be that far off. Suspend this in the cup. We got a gun that's special for this. I mean, it's got a huge opening in the nozzle, and I'm not sure exactly what size it is, but it's a lot of times, if you're painting, you're going to have two guns anyway. You're going to have a base gun, a clear gun, which will give you a little more volume out of the nozzle, and then this is a whole nother game. You just got to shoot big chunks out of there and get it out of there fast. Just be careful you don't run it. And we'll clear it, maybe 3 heavy coats of clear. Potentially, we're going to have to wet sand the front of it. Be incredibly careful. This flake is not that color all the way through it. So if you sand through your clear and hit the flake, there's a good chance you're going to knock the color off of the flake itself, and it may turn silver and start over, because there is no fixing that. So if it's too rough and we can't sand down far enough, we may clear it a second time. So, and then back in the day, that was just part of it. You had to clear it and sand it, clear it, sand it, clear it, sand it. Generally, we don't have to do that. So Goldie's coming together. Next week you'll see Goldie. Oh man, she's gonna have chrome on her and coming together, and it's gonna look like a car. And motor back in it. We'll see Dorothy tomorrow with her, maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday, we'll see. We get possession of the grocery store this afternoon. Maybe tomorrow we'll go over there. Maybe. So it won't be so exciting, except we're gonna have one time. We're not gonna show you our update progress as we're demolitioning and doing the other thing, but we're gonna show you where we're moving to, and then we may show you when it's all done. And so where are we at now? What do we got here? Oh, I bet you I know what that is. Yeah, the painter on this one is a blues guy. So when you got your blues going through, what are these? Bluetooth, is that what that's called? Yeah, through your Bluetooth. And that probably comes off your phone. And you're painting all kinds of stuff, you better put a mask on it, because you don't want it to get the cooties. If your Bluetooth gets the cooties, it could start be playing funk music, and everything will be all funky. And when you're doing blues and you're getting the color on here going right, you better be in the right mood for it. So, gold, it's happening, gold, yeah. So now it's time for warning. If you're triggered, you might want to go to a different station. So I'm at my spot this morning, and I'm kind of getting there, and I'm going, all right, kind of thinking where I want to go, or where am I going to go? I'm more wondering where we're going here. So I wound up going to Colossians. And wasn't where I was anticipating going, but that's where I wanted. So I'm going to share that with you, because here we are. I'm just going to, and I've actually got a little, I'm not a big giant, and thanks again for that study Bible. That was awesome. I use that at home. I've got a different Bible in my truck, so I can get one there, and this one just kind of stays here, and I got Bibles everywhere, but anyway. I got a couple little marks there. Can you see those? I'm not a giant, fill my Bible full of things like that, but if it's got marks like that, I've probably either taught on it or preached on it. And it helps you, it at least helps me going, oh, where do I need to find? So it's been a long time since I've said anything about this, but I should probably, I've at least done a study on this, probably. And just reading it really quickly, I'm not going to preach, but I'm going to say this. Without Christ, there is one way. There's only one way. You're going to hell. So if you're going to hell, do what you want. I don't care. I'm not going to judge you. It's not me to judge. I don't have no heaven. I have no hell to put you in. I have no way to put you there if I wanted to. What can I say? But I will tell you a way to escape. And the way is pretty laid out. So I'm going to give you an upfront warning. If you want to play Christian, if you want to pick and choose some of this, it's either true or it's not. If there's a little bit of a lie in here, why am I following it? It's all a lie. So I'm just going to give you a stern warning that, man, I'm not saying this as a prophet, I'm not saying this as anything, I'm giving you a stern warning. Do not say what God said is true is untrue, especially if you want to be in the body. If you come in the body and you want to blaspheme against the Holy Spirit and say what the Holy Spirit says is not what the Holy Spirit says, it will not end well for you. Now, if you don't believe any of it anyway, it doesn't matter. But you can't pick and choose. It don't work that way. There will be a purge in the body. The body is not going to have this virus in it for much longer. It's not going to happen. I'm just saying that personally. May you be strengthened with all power according to his glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy. Don't forget that. Giving thanks to the Father who has qualified us to share in the inheritance of the saints in light. He has delivered us from the dominion of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. And I'm just jumping around. This is Colossians. This is just the first chapter. Colossians not even a long book, so you can probably sit down and just read the whole thing if you wanted. A lot of meat there, though. Sometimes when you just power through, which is a good way to read sometimes, it's overwhelming. I mean, it's good for putting knowledge in, but anyway, I'm moving down here to, well, I've got a little mark on 21, so I'm going to read 21. I'm not sure what it says. And you, who once were estranged and hostile in mind, doing evil deeds, he has now reconciled in his body of flesh by his death, in order to present you holy and blameless and incorruptible before him, provided that you continue in the faith, stable and steadfast, not shifting from the hope of the gospel which you heard, which has been preached to every creature under heaven. And this is Paul speaking, so he said, of which I, Paul, became a minister. So we could say, of which I, BC, I'm a student of the teacher. I'm a disciple of Christ. I am called to minister to other people. I am called to be a blessing. I'm blessed to be a blessing. How can I help you? And even if you're my enemy, I'm compelled to at least have compassion. And anyway, but that doesn't mean we're not at war. We're at war, and we're at war over things that we don't even see. It's a spiritual, like you want to worship God, you worship in spirit and truth. And it's not about going to a building and hooting and hollering, or you got your best praise band here, or you want to do it this way or that way. That's not the issue. Just getting connection. It's a relationship thing. Goldie. It's gold. It's gold. Can you imagine streets of gold? I wonder how much trouble you get for doing a burnout on a street of gold. Man, I know I've gotten a lot of trouble for leaving skid marks. You go out in our parking lot here, one of our customers, he just like, I come driving up, he come in before me, and I kind of like, what in the world? The place is on fire. And all of a sudden he comes rolling out of this giant smoke pile. Everybody's around there. We got a video, one of the guys did, I didn't take the video. You know, and it's like, the smoke clears, our parking lot is tattooed out here with ring, 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 ring. So, no burnouts on the street of gold, probably. But I bet it would clean up pretty easy. Probably easier than concrete. Nonetheless, until tomorrow, have an awesome day.